Barrie police have arrested a man for arson after they say he called into the Howard Stern radio show admitting he burned down his apartment and then lied to police about it.
Mark Shaw may be better known as Bigfoot after his stints on Howard Stern's radio show. On the night of December 3rd, Shaw is accused of burning down his apartment. And get this, at the same time, police say he was on the phone with Stern Show producer Wolfie, telling him all the details. While court documents show Shaw told officers it was an accident, that he knocked over a candle causing the flames, he told the producer it was, quote, something that needed to happen and what he wanted to do. The fire caused $75,000 in property damage and displaced 2 neighbors. Documents also show that Shaw made several calls to police in the weeks prior, claiming he was fed up with sexual activity occurring in the hallway. The affidavit goes on to say the VP of Safety and Security at SiriusXM Radio reached out to Barrie City Police days later, alerting them of their conversations with Bigfoot.
Welcome, everybody. Or should I say... This is the show. I don't know what exactly happened with the audio. But, Lila, be quiet. Everyone, welcome. I don't know what happened there, but we're here. We're live. I sound fine. You sound, well, you don't sound like anything. But we got a lot to discuss. It's big news. Oh, the song sounded perfect. Okay, good. We got big news to discuss regarding our friend Bigfoot. Big story. Before I dive into it, I'm not going at this alone. I have brought on a legal expert because there are things about this that I don't fully understand. I'm not going to sit here and pretend. Don't let this look fool you. I'm not familiar with the law. I'm just a man with an out-of-control beard and a Yoda shirt. In his 40s. Some would call that a pedophile. Regardless, I have brought on this legal expert to help break this down. You may know him. You may know his work in the legal field because, like I said, he is an expert in that world and he knows his stuff, and that's why he's here. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, allow me to welcome my legal expert, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Brent Hatley. Brent,
hello.
How are you, sir?
Good evening. I couldn't be better, actually.
Well, thank you so much for joining us tonight. This is big news. I'm not sure if you're familiar with what's going on, but turns out our friend, Mr. Bigfoot, is incarcerated as we speak. He has been charged with arson, I believe, and you're an expert. Arson. Is it a joke or no joke, Brent?
No joke. It's a very serious offense. But there is some good news for Bigfoot fans out there.
And what is that?
He has a long history of being admitted for mental issues.
Okay.
Mental incapacitation. So
Okay.
The first thing that they're doing in Vermont right now, luckily for Bigfoot, is they're holding him and they're evaluating his competency to even understand the charges against him.
So, for example, the fact that he thought Vermont was a person and wanted to sue it, that is in his favor at this point, correct? Okay.
Correct. Putting a sword through the door when the police were there.
Right. Talking regularly to his cable television. That is
correct.
That is in the plus column.
Correct.
Okay.
So he's under a psych eval right now. So a judge and a psychiatrist can determine that he's not fit mentally to stand trial because he doesn't fully understand the charges against him. And I think that's an actually solid legal argument to make on his behalf.
Understood. There's people are saying, what is the most shocking thing about this story? And my personal opinion is the most shocking thing about this story is that if anyone is shocked by this story, I think that is the shocking thing here because, I mean, he's not well. He hasn't been well for many years. I don't know where you draw that line. I get it. There's a line there where it's like he's great for audio and video, but Brent, we shared an office, right? You heard me.
Yes.
You heard me make
Half of those
calls.
conversations.
Yeah, what were you gonna say? Half of those what?
So I would hear half of your conversation. I'd hear your end. So obviously he couldn't hear very well. So one of the funniest ones ever was when you were sending Wolfie there to cover him, and his brother was there, and you asked him would he blow his brother for $100
Yeah.
on the phone. You asked him that, and he pretended like he couldn't hear it. But then when Wolfie there gets there, he's like, "Hey, you got the 100?"
Yeah, well, I remember I said, "Would you
He's
blow
kind
your?"
of genius.
He said, "Would you?" I go, "Would you blow your brother for $100?" He goes, "Huh?" And so now I'm screaming in our office at the top of our lungs. We have glass surrounding us, so everyone can just look inside. It's not soundproof, and I'm just screaming, "Would you blow your brother for $100?" And he's going, "Yeah, I'll blow him for $100." And I go, "Okay." Well, I go, "Wolfie's coming down there," and he goes, "You want to watch it? He can watch it too for another 100." Like, this guy's wheeling and dealing over here. So yes, I get there is a line there. I don't and the other big thing is that everybody's like, how the fuck could Wolfie do this? What's your thoughts on Wolfie doing this? And my honest to God thoughts is there's nothing Wolfie could have done other than what was done. He works for a major corporation, and you cannot something like that. You just can't. You can't. I love Bigfoot. I love the Whack Pack. I mean, I haven't said anything, and Brent, you can back me up on this. I haven't said anything
Right.
for years about Bobo being an accomplice to Gary Ridgway, the Green River Killer, for the last
Nothing.
something. I've kept my mouth shut about that.
Completely.
That's not how you tie a ligature. Ligature. Go
But,
ahead.
and I make no judgments because Wolfie was in a tough position. So
Yeah.
I make no judgments. But I will say this: I'm going to make a judgment about your work, and I would say this: what I really always respected about you was you made a lot of stuff about them funny without hurting them, and you always treated them like I heard you in the office, and you always treated them with respect, as ridiculous as that sounds. And the
It's
ridiculous
weird.
conversations you had to have.
I
You
know.
always treated him with respect.
And you're right, because there are times where I've talked to them where they've asked me at different times, I don't want this on the air, and you have to respect that no matter how good it is. Once you make that promise to
Right.
them, you have to keep it, because you have to understand that in the long run you're going to get more great stuff from them if they can trust you. And that's the thing. It's like, I'm sure, I've never done it, but I'm sure undercover work is somewhat similar to this, is you have to get in good, you have to get their trust. But at the same time, I enjoyed being around these people. I'm a longtime fan of the show, so that world, I was always drawn to it. I was always entertained by the Whack Pack, fascinated by him. So to be able to room with Beetlejuice for a couple years, yeah, I'm down with that. Let's go. And think of the stories you get out of that.
And it was always done. You always did stuff for a laugh, and I never saw any of them get hurt by the stuff that you did, which was really an amazing feat.
It really was,
But,
because I goofed on him a lot, and I think Siobhan was the one that came the closest to beating my ass. And when I mentioned something about her daughter, and she just got my grill, and she goes, "You don't want Bill to come out, okay? Because Bill will come out, and you don't want that." And that was terrifying. And then Riley Martin one night when he was drunk, he threatened to bash me over the head with a beer bottle, and then I go, "Yo, Iran, get your boy," because he had the beer bottle in one hand and he was pulling himself up with his walking stick on the other hand to bash me over the head with it.
Oh my God!
So back to Bigfoot.
All of them were hilarious.
So back to Bigfoot. So let's say they say you're not competent to stand trial for this. You're not on this planet. What happens then? Like what's type of sentencing that you could get for something like this?
So he'll go to a state mental hospital, And as long as he's not competent to stand trial, he won't have to face those charges. There's the other possibility that he could also go to trial and he could plead not guilty by reason of insanity. I don't know if that defense would particularly work for him, but I think that he'd go to a state mental hospital until the courts deemed that he understood the charges against him and he could stand trial, and then he would go to trial. So I think the best he can hope for right now, is a state mental hospital.
I want to do a show where it's me, you, and a real lawyer, and then I go to you and you say everything, and then I go to him and he goes, none of what he said is accurate or correct.
I would love that. I would love that. I would love that. I bet depositions are the worst thing ever, but when you're in there, it is fun to torture the lawyers.
Yeah. How many depositions have you been?
Have you been what
through?
You're talking about? Well, I've been on both sides.
Okay.
Countless.
Have you ever deposed yourself?
No, but I've been deposed in a civil case.
Yeah.
In a civil defamation case. It was terrible. It was awful.
Wow. That's like all your business is out there in front of fucking strangers, everything, all your dirt.
Yeah. And it's videotaped too when you give a deposition.
I mean, that's hot. So, at least you can jerk off to that later, but let's not get into your swinging just yet. Counselor, if they do for some reason find him, I guess okay to stand trial for if he's competent.
Okay.
Then like he can get like 10 years, right? Like minimum, something like that.
Yeah, that's easy. You're talking about arson is an A felony. So I think the sentencing guidelines, I haven't even looked up the sentencing guidelines in Vermont, but in general, if you're convicted of like first degree arson, premeditated arson, which is what he's charged with,
right?
That's a 10-year sentence all day.
Well,
all day.
And then plus you got to factor in the amount of money the damage was caused, which, by the way, I mean, I don't know who's adding up the total there, but I've seen that apartment, 75 grand. I'm pretty sure you buy that town for 75 grand, dude. Forget about fixing up that apartment. What are you putting there? Saddam's Palace for 75 grand? Are you Barry? Where is he from? Barry, Vermont?
Barry, Vermont.
Yeah. Come on, Barry, Vermont.
The prosecutor went in there and came up with that total. I'd want to see an itemized list. I'm the defense attorney. I'm saying I want to see an itemized list.
Yeah,
of everything in here. Up to 75.
Your Honor, he has a shit covered towel in here for $7,000. I don't think that's accurate.
All right, I'm moving for sanctions against opposing counsel for presenting a fraudulent document to the court.
I tell you, as much as I love the Whack Pack, there were a few of them that I kept from, I loved them from a distance, and Bigfoot was one of them. Bigfoot was a guy, like, when Wolfie was like, I want to go to this place, I'm like, go, young man, go forth. Enjoy. Knock yourself out.
Yeah. Oh, it was, yeah. But he's because he is for real mentally ill. I mean, I think he does have a good shot at being deemed not competent to stand trial. I think
fingers crossed, really man. Fingers crossed. Silent prayer. Let's get this, Bigfoot.
So,
yeah, I think.
You're right.
Well, for me, it was always important that if I was going to hang with a Whack Packer for a weekend at a gig or at some event or an appearance or something, I had to be sure that I could fight and win that fight against the Whack Packer. So that's why I was always with Beetle, high pitch. I just got to run. He's not going to catch me. Beetle, I could just put my hand on his head, on the top of his head, and he's not going to touch me. Underdog, I can trip her. She doesn't have great equilibrium. Tan Mom's another one where I could just dangle keys up here and she's like, what's that? Hello? And then I run somewhere else. Then there's,
I love it.
Yeah, Jeff. Jeff's got one arm. If I can't beat him, I jump off a bridge. So that was always important to me.
I hear Jeff's upset with Wolfie. Is that true?
Listen, I don't mean to kiss and tell, but I mean, I won't name names, but I'm getting calls almost daily from various whackpackers who are not happy. And I'm not starting anything. I'm just saying, hey man, that's your home. You know,
A
that's
lot of
where.
calls are coming into the office.
Yeah, dude, it's never stopped. It's never stopped. You know, I've explained to Gary the retard 7 times that I've left the show. I don't think he gets it. I don't know what's going on there.
It hasn't quite sunk in yet.
No, but it feels good being able to say that again, right? Doesn't it?
Well, you know what? This is amazing that you bring this up. It's amazing to be able to say what your real opinion is and what you want to say
Yeah.
without being able to be fired.
Well, and even with this story coming out, like my first instinct was like, somebody sent it to me and I was like, ooh, I'm going to sit on that. And then I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I can actually comment about this. And and then I started commenting on it and I'm like, why am I doing it on Twitter? Why didn't I sit here and do a show about it? And I'm like, why don't I talk to you about it? You're in the fucking office with me every day. You heard me screaming at him and all the other whackpackers. So, you know, it's a perfect argument to be like, you know, people used to always say to me, like when we would tour with Beetle, and there would be some people that'd be like, you know, he exploits Beetlejuice. And I'd be like, really? Well, do you know what Beetlejuice's life was like before the Stern Show? Do you know what it's like since he's been on the Stern Show? Do you know that this guy gets stopped
Right.
everywhere he goes, showered with love and praise, and people asking to take pictures with him, people buying him things, giving him money? I mean, everyone treats him like a king. So I don't think he's exploiting him at all. I think he's given him a life that he would not have anywhere
I
else.
totally agree.
Anywhere
Totally
else.
agree.
You know, so
I completely agree with that, and I think Beetle has gotten more enjoyment in life because of the Stern Show than he ever would have gotten out. I think that he's had a blast doing it.
yeah, 100%. 100%. So now where are you, buddy? You're in Florida?
I am in the great city of St. Petersburg, Florida, in downtown St. Pete. So you'd know that as where the Tampa Bay Rays play. So
And hey,
right in that-
congrats on
in
the
that
Super Bowl, baby.
right in that neighborhood. But I'm a Saints fan, so that was a tough one to take.
Oh,
To beat the
well,
Bucks twice during the year and then to lose, that was a tough one to take. But hey, the party here raged.
well, now let me ask you this, because I lived in Vegas for many years, and I know when the Super Bowl would come to town that all the strippers would come to town from L.A. and wherever else, Arizona, because everybody would show up for the Super Bowl. Is that the case with the swinging community? Do swingers pour into town, into Tampa and St. Pete for the parties that are happening?
So we went to actually a swingers resort for that weekend, for Super Bowl weekend. So yeah, there were people in from all over. We ended up hanging out with this crew out of Miami that were going to a party at their place on Saturday night.
Yeah.
But these Stern fans flew down from Cleveland for the day. They flew down for the day for the Saturday before the Super Bowl party, just to be at the Super Bowl party at the resort that day. These 4 people saw us in the hot tub and started saying, "Hey, we love talking about swinging and this and that and Shuli." Like every time somebody sees us at a swingers thing, they bring up Shuli.
So again, I'm helping. You're welcome.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm your fucking icebreaker, dude. I'm your conversation icebreaker.
Yeah, they come up and say, fuck Shuli, a lot of them. But
that's fine.
I'm like,
that's fine. You should tell him.
Like,
you should fuck me to get back at him. You should tell him that.
But it's a topic of conversation. So yeah, there's lots of people that were at the swingers resort. So we watched the Super Bowl in the hot tub, nude, watching the game on a big screen with a bunch of, there was a whole bunch of swingers in the pool and the other hot tub at the tiki bar. It's a whole thing. There's like Florida has swingers resorts, multiple.
So like when there's a commercial on or the games, like is anybody just popping a boner at the wrong time in a hot tub watching the game? Yeah. That's got to be weird, right? You're watching a Chevy commercial, and then next thing you know, it's fucking the guy next to you's got a rod, and you're like, what the fuck's that about?
So I'm sitting there. So we're talking to this couple from Philadelphia, and we're kind of really like kind of watching the game and having drinks. And this chick gets in the hot tub, shit faced, and starts fucking shit faced and starts pawing on me. I thought Caitlin was gonna fucking kill her. She was like, "You didn't ask."
Oh, that's right. You got it. There's a whole thing there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, it's all consent based. Like if anybody touches somebody without asking, like if people are like, "Hey, you gotta tighten that up immediately. You got to ask."
It's like
before
when
you
I
touch
was a
people.
camp counselor and we did some rock climbing, and there was a whole thing. You get on belay on, and then the guy would go. So I'm sure it's similar like that, where you're just like pussy on, and then you're
Yeah.
allowed to go in.
Exactly.
So now resorts have been open this whole time, right? They haven't shut down.
No, we've been going since June. We went and started going in June of 2020.
Have you had COVID?
I had it before we left New York.
Dude, I still think I got it from Wendy.
In December. You
remember that, right?
Yeah. So I think because of all that, because we were all in close quarters. Remember how close that Hollywood Square studio was?
Well, dude, I was
all in close quarters.
I was pushing her in the wheelchair and she coughed and I did the fucking most rookie move. I pushed through it. I didn't go around it. And like my pro days, and I was fucking sick. That was the night of the Christmas party, and I missed it.
Right.
I stayed home because I was throwing up. I felt like shit, and I was sick for about 3 weeks after that.
Oh, dude! So get this. I haven't even talked to you about this. 2 days later, I'm exactly that sick. Sick for 3 weeks. That's when I had it.
Yeah. So I'm definitely, I know I had that fucking thing.
So we were in a room that's about as big as like my fucking second bedroom here in the office. And we had all those people in there with her in there coughing and hacking the whole time.
Yeah. She was fucking letting loose.
I guarantee you, because I was exactly that sick for exactly that amount of time. I guarantee you. And I was like feeling like I was on my deathbed for a few days. It was terrible.
Well, I took a test here. I haven't taken the antibody, but I took a test here and I was negative. But I want to get the antibody because I'm almost positive I had this fucking thing.
Yeah. So I have a testing site here. So every time we go to one of these resorts, we come back, we get tested, we quarantine for 10 to 14 days,
right,
and then get tested again before we see anybody. My parents just got vaccinated, and I think Caitlin's parents did too. So.
So now, but you buy into this virus being a real thing. You're not one of these hoaxers. Yeah. Okay.
No. It's absolutely real. It's just, it is a virus. And some of us, so some people are asymptomatic. Some people fight it off. And to be quite honest, Shuli, there's a lot that people don't know about it. And finally, somebody admitted the other day from the CDC when they asked them, they said, well, California's closed down and Florida's open, but they have virtually the same rates. Why is that? And the guy was like, you know what? A lot of people think they know about this virus, the things that they don't actually know yet because it's so new.
Hey,
so he goes, I can't even really answer that question.
Let me ask you this. Is it proper etiquette to put something on if you go to a buffet line at a swingers thing, or can you just have your dick out and just grab some, rigatoni or whatever is available? Like if you're really hungry and you're like, fuck it, I'll put my shorts on in a second. That mac and cheese looks awesome. And you just run over there. You're not hard, you're soft, but you're getting mac and cheese.
Well, you know what? I'm going to give you an honest answer. I've been at a house party here in the Tampa Bay area, and it was like fully fucking catered. But now that I'm thinking back on it, there was people and up to and including me, nude, stopping by and grabbing food.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's one way to keep the line separated. Nobody's going to be fucking getting up close to you. Like, can you move up a little bit? No, you're not going to feel any breathing on your neck. Like, people are going to be distanced.
Yeah.
That's the original social distancing, is just butt-ass naked. Nobody's coming near you.
Yeah. Come to think of it, I walked by there nude and picked up food. So, yeah, I was that guy.
So it's almost like the pandemic's done wonders for you guys in the swing. It's almost like It's like Superman with the sun. It's brought the powers of swinging to, max for you guys. You guys are just every weekend you want it, it's there.
Because that's all that's going on, really. Like, a lot of places are closed down, obviously because of this pandemic. But the swinging places, like, they straight don't give a fuck, and swingers straight don't give a fuck. So you go to these places, you go to these parties, you go to Caliente, you go to Secrets. There's another place called Top Secret. You go to any of these places, it's a place where you can go and party, and people just straight up don't fucking care.
No, I hear you. And listen, you guys feel, I guess, you guys are smart. You're being safe, but it's, that world, especially now. Are you as confident as you were before the pandemic, or like, do you meet couples with masks on at first?
Oh no, definitely not.
Right. I mean, what's
Definitely
the fucking
not.
point?
Once you like, it's ridiculous. Like, at Secrets, like, you have to put the mask on to walk through, like, the front lobby and check in.
Right.
And then as soon as you walk into the pool area, everybody takes their mask off, and you're
Right.
done.
You take your mask off and hawk one out right on someone's twat. And you're just like,
totally-
you're like, yeah.
I mean, listen, you're getting sucked off and you're licking bush. I mean, what's a mask gonna do at this point?
If they don't clip that and use that in an ad for Florida, welcome to St. Pete. You're getting sucked off. Welcome to St. Pete, the mayor of St. Pete. Any future political aspirations for Brent Hatley?
No, and there's a mayor election coming up, and this. Somebody asked me the other day, hey, why don't you run for mayor? And I was like, why don't you run for mayor? I'm not getting involved in this, man. Politics has gotten to a crazy, nasty level, man. I'm not cut out.
You got to be wanting to tap out of this shit, man. It's like everybody's been going so hard, so long with this politics shit, and it's all it's all a work. It's all a work, brother. It ain't no shoot.
100% a work. It's all a work.
That's right.
Just like George Carlin used to say, none of them give a fuck about you. So why do you care about them?
That's right.
I don't care. Like even on our show, like, we don't even talk politics. Like, fuck it, man.
Yeah.
We can't do anything about it. So fuck it.
So
I can't change anything.
And Caitlin's good.
She's awesome. Like, we've never actually been happier. We have a great time doing what we're doing. She's loves being on OnlyFans, but getting completely nude and doing sex acts.
Good for her.
Money.
Good for you, Caitlin. Not a girl.
She loves it.
Not a girl.
And she loves it, and she fucking parties and loves doing the show, and just full of life and energy. She does just fucking amazing. She's we've just never been happier. We're awesome. We're both from the Tampa area, so we can kind of keep an eye on our parents too. So everything's golden. Like, this this COVID thing kind of made a lot of people get somewhere closer to their families. So I feel better being close to my parents who are older. So if they need something, I can take care of them.
That's beautiful, man. And can I suggest open with that next time, and then close with Caitlin's doing sex acts on OnlyFans? All right, because then it makes. Because you're coming off of that into a sentimental thing, and it's like Casey Kasem said, I got to talk about a fucking dog dying coming out of a fucking up-tempo record.
I love it. But
hi, I'm Casey Kasem.
Her OnlyFans is amazing. We love it. We're
hey,
proud
plug
of
it. Plug her OnlyFans. Plug her OnlyFans.
So it's CaitlinHatley.com it's where all of our stuff is too. It's KATELYNHATLEY.com. And for my Twitch show, it's just BrentHatley.com.
Yes, and Brent is on Twitch, and we're going to start gaming against each other on Twitch. And maybe I'd like to, talk about doing something together on here, you and I. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
I miss working with you. I miss
me too.
I miss upsetting you. I promised I wouldn't do it this time because we haven't talked in a long time. But Brent Brent is a guy I talked to before I made my leap of faith. We talked a little bit. I had a couple questions for him and wanted to run some thoughts by him. And you were a big help, buddy. And thank you for that, man.
Well, you're welcome. And you're a fucking talented, hilarious dude. I've seen some of the podcast interviews you've done. I've laughed, and I love your stand-up. You really worked on it, and I really do love your stand-up. And tell people all the time. They're like, "Oh, do you hate Shuli?" I'm like, "No, he's like my little brother, and you fight with your brother, but you love your brother." Like I was like, we worked together during the show and in the office after the show, man. Of course, he's going to know how to punch my buttons, and you can't help yourself.
The happiest day of my life is when they said Brent's going to be your supervisor. He's going to be in charge of it. I was like, yes, yes. I'm like, I've got my supervisor super baked on a fucking brownie at a goddamn soccer game. I'm down. Let's go. That's my kind of supervisor, bro.
Me too.
But
and
yeah,
I gotta say, like you did a masterful job of punching my buttons. And I told people, like, was I mad for real? Yes, I wasn't bullshitting.
oh no, it was an uncomfortable return to our glass cage after those shows, because I would be like, hey man, great job, and Brent's just still staring at me like he wants to kill me, and I'm like, okay, he's still in the studio, I'm gonna back off and leave him alone for a little bit. And he would go walk away, walk off somewhere, maybe call Caitlin, I don't know, but he came back and we'd go right back to business. He was always a professional, always.
Yes, and sometimes I would talk to Caitlin, and she was like, "Are you fucking stupid?" I'll be like, "What?" She was like, "Are you stupid?" I was like, "What?" She was like, "That's some of the greatest radio I've ever heard. You two are fucking. That was hilarious."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, she was like, "Who wouldn't stop listening to that?" She was like, "So fucking go be proud of it."
She's right. She's right.
But if I don't get emotionally invested in it, then it comes off as jive, and I'm never gonna do anything that's fake on the air. But believe me, if anybody knows how to get me pissed, is this guy.
Yeah, and this was a free pass. So if you guys want to see,
I appreciate it.
if you guys want to see it, we'll do it on the next episode. But just let me know if you like it. And I contacted you last minute and asked you to jump on. I really didn't have a ton to say on Bigfoot other than it doesn't surprise me. He's not mentally well. He hasn't been mentally well for a long time, and while I'm busting Wolfie's balls online, I don't fault the guy. It's a tough position for him to be in, and if it was me doing that interview and I got that audio, I would probably do the same thing. Although I do have audio that's never been heard before of him flipping out once when a social worker was. You were in the office that day. That's right.
Yes. Oof.
He was like, how about I stab everybody it is? And just screaming, and there was a social worker there and a cop there, and I had it all on tape, and I played it for Brent, and that's it. Nobody else heard it. I just said, you got to hear this, and I knew not to give it because I would wait and see what's going on, if he got arrested, if whatever, and then we would handle it, if need be, if they wanted to play the audio. But yeah, it depends what it is. If somebody died in this thing, of course you got to fucking... even if somebody came close to dying, that's a big deal. So, yeah, man. But all the best to Bigfoot.
Yeah, all the best to Bigfoot. And let's be honest too. In some ways, the system failed him because he's never gotten the treatment that he really needs. Because he's mentally ill. I mean, so he definitely needs treatment, and he never got it.
I'll see you in court, Vermont. It is.
Exactly. He needed treatment from that point forward, or even probably before that. And he kind of never got it. So I kind of do feel some compassion for the guy too.
Well, I can tell you one thing: if and when he gets out, he probably won't be back on the show anymore. But he's always welcome on the Shuli show. I'll tell you that.
That would be amazing. You got to have him on. Have him on.
Yeah. Well,
can you imagine trying to explain, and you've got to record yourself explaining Zoom to him.
Oh, please! I think I could get my parents on Zoom easier than I can get Bigfoot on Zoom. I have his number. When I called it, said this number has been melted. Please try again later. So I'll have to try that. Yeah, no doubt. Brent, thank you very much for doing this. We'll do it again, buddy. I love you. I wish you all the best, and you're the man. Love to Caitlin.
Thank you. Tell your wife said hello. Love to the kids and the new German Shepherd.
Thank you.
Congratulations. I do love the show. I'm one of the subscribers. I'm one of your subscribers, buddy.
Thank you, Brent. And everybody follow and support Brent and his lovely wife, and take good care of my friends. All right? Love you, buddy. All the best.
Thank you. Love you, too.
That's the man, Brent Hatley. I love that dude. Solid. Class act. That's how it's done. Well, That was a fun little bonus show, right? Liso, you around, pal? I think he's muted on Discord. I guess it was just me the whole time. Me and Bort. Hey, I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves. I hope it was fun. I had a good time. I wish all the best to Bigfoot, and we'll see what happens, man.